that's far too loud. Jeez, my God. Oh. There we go, that's a bit bad. Jeez. Rupturing all my brain cells. All three of them. Oh, let me tweet out, and then we'll start some streaming, mate. That's what we're gonna do. Twitter. You've got a lovely name, Sir Bob Ross. That's a beautiful name. ED versus Star Citizen. What? In a bar brawl? If anyone would like to ask a question, just question in brackets at the front. If you want to start a topic or whatever, I'll happily discuss pretty much anything. Doesn't have to be Star Citizen related, but I mean, I would suggest it be Star Citizen related, or about me or my channel, or about mental health, or you know, about something tangentially related. It doesn't have to be. It can be why do you have a shiny bald head? And I don't know, whatever you want. Oh, Destiny 2 comes out tomorrow on Steam and Shadowkeep. I'm actually looking forward to that. All hail. Right. Oh, I didn't sort the auto moderator out like I said I would. Manage moderators. Do that now, just before we start. Community settings. Automatically block bad words. Right. How do we do this so it only blocks terrible words? Okay, well, remove that word. And remove that word. I think we'll be good. That looks good to me. I mean, that means everyone can talk. Potentially, maybe. Who knows? Shouldn't have so many problems with people's messages not appearing for me now. That is the idea. Okay. Let's tweak this music down, but make sure we can still hear it. Put it down a little bit more. Put it down a little bit more. No, that's off. That's on. That sounds good. You can hear that? Let's bring my microphone slightly closer to my face, but not too close so you can see it. And then we'll do that. And that should be good. Hi, I'm BoredGamer. I'm streaming. So, it appears that I use OBS Streamlabs and OBS to stream. It's been bought out by Logitech, so that might be a good thing, as long as they don't, overly advertise Logitech stuff and force weird proprietary shit on it. I'm hoping that the service gets better rather than worse. It certainly have more money behind it. but at the moment today, it seems to be down for me. So I'm sort of like bodging, getting it working. Like loads of my alerts and stuff aren't going to work properly. I can't see necessarily who has donated in what order. They're sort of like, but we're fucking. If anyone donates huge amounts of money or little bits of money or whatever, or you know, subscribes or whatever, I will thank them at some point. Might have to be next time though. But I will make a big list. Don't stop by any means though. If you want to throw money at me, feel free. It's my super nerdy voice. Oh, you see here. Look, it's broken. Look, all the things down here broken. This broken connection timed out. Right, we are going to. We're going to do this raw. We're going to do it raw. Going to put the browser. No, we're going to put the media source. Today, we're going to put it on top. And then we're going to get the video camera. I'm going to put that above that. Bam. We're doing it. Doing it live. So yeah, so a load of stuff's broken on OBS for me today anyway. Maybe there's a greater issue there, but I didn't realise. But we'll still go through and answer some questions, have a bit of a chat. What I want to do is I'm planning to start doing a podcast with some other community members, not just YouTubers and streamers, but random people. If I say random people, some people from the community. So people I would have vetted in some way probably, but they might be like I would probably ask people like Montoya and things like that to come on. So org leaders as well. He's a YouTuber as well, I suppose. But you know what I mean. I'll be asking org leaders and people that are part of the sort of like Star Citizen community. I might look at getting more controversial figures on in the future potentially. I think it's like relevant to go that way in an interesting debate kind of way. I don't want a drama channel. I don't want people to shout at each other or anything like that. But there might be some relevance to have someone on that's, I don't know, doesn't like a particular mechanic or doesn't like the monetization model. Something like that. But I've got a load of stats and bits that I'm doing with that podcast. A few months ago, I did a load of polls and stuff to get people to tell me what they liked the idea of. So I've got a load of stuff like that nailed down. However, there's still some bits that I'll have to, feel out while we do it. We'll do like a pilot and then get some feedback on that, and then just aspirationally try and improve the channel. I'm super low effort when it comes to editing and when it comes to setting stuff up and organising things. This is one of the reasons that my mate Zin is going to be working for me full-time as an editor, but also to organise events like an 890 jump boarding party. I say boarding party, boarding versus pirates party, although I will probably organise something in the short term to that effect, because there's some good gameplay potentials for 3.7. So, yeah, I'm happy to talk any subjects that people want to talk about. EVOCATI leaks, I can't comment on specifics of the current EVOCATI patch, because I'm an EVOCATI. I'm NDA'd, I'm non-disclosure agreement for specifics for that. I can talk about 3.7 in more general terms. I can talk about EVOCATI links in general terms of they are not representative of final gameplay typically, things like that. But feel free to ask away. I'm feeling a lot better as well. I had a terrible migraine, and I've got some back problems at the moment. It's just from being generally sitting down all the time and not being super fit. I had a really terrible migraine on Friday, and I had to cut the stream short. So, thanks for people that still turned up to say hi, and I was sort of out of sorts. Lube or no lube? Lube all the way, in pretty much any circumstance for anything. Okay, so this can be for how do I get to my destination quicker? Lube, and that can have a multi meanings. That can be a bit of innuendo or innuendo. How do I make my door open better? Lube. How do I eat more food? Lube. I mean, Elite Dangerous Planet bases versus Star Citizen bases. So, what do we actually know about those Elite Dangerous Planet bases yet? Wasn't it just a bit of a leak? Have they actually revealed more of them? What I would expect is from Elite Dangerous Planet bases, as they will have a very limited set of features that are appropriate for Elite Dangerous, but they aren't going to be in the sort of same area that Star Citizen spaces are. I would expect more customization from Elite Dangerous's bases, though. But Star Citizen stuff is sort of like... It's going to be a lot prettier. We know Star Citizen's going to be a lot prettier. Star Citizen isn't going for the full make super bases route as far as we were aware. Although you will be able to place outposts, you will be able to live on bases on the ground that you've placed. They might evolve that further. The thing is that Elite Dangerous's implementation is going to be a lot more fleshed out than the first Star Citizen's implementation is going to be. But Star Citizen is a lot more in-depth than Elite Dangerous it plans to be. You see what I mean? We can't really compare them when we don't have them. Beyond that, my expectation is that Elite Dangerous will have some good customization. It will be some light sort of extra intrigue and some good industry gameplay. But Elite Dangerous isn't really a game I enjoy that much. I played it a bit. I quite liked the more arena combat battles when I was when Star Citizen was in its earlier stages. I quite enjoyed playing around in the arena in Elite Dangerous. But Elite Dangerous doesn't really have the depth that I want. I need something with closer to Eve's depth, is the only way I can describe it when it comes to that sort of space game. Let's turn this up slightly, otherwise you can't hear the lovely music like I can. So I'll just occasionally go, thank you very much everyone for being here, and I'm sorry if I can't see the alerts for specifics, but I will poke you at some other time and say thank you. Haneth, I can see that you subbed. Thank you very much appreciated. Graham939, I can see that you subbed. Thank you very much. Are you speaking for us again, Egghead? You've heard the story of Humpty Dumpty, haven't you? JK. Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty started a YouTube channel and focused on Star Citizen and did pretty well. Yeah? Was that the story of Humpty fucking Dumpty? Is that good enough for you, Haneth? Yeah, fucking better be. Opinion on whether or not we should have values for physical resistance put in for the law while they work on implementing a permanent system. So what, you want a temporary physical resistance feature? I think that we did have some armor at one point which affected a multiplier on damage to hulls in some places. I don't really mind. In the short term, yeah, cool. If they want to do something easily that allows them to have more physical resistance, just increase the health pool, I don't really mind. I'm really holding out on the physical based damage system and physicalized components. And until then, I don't really mind as long as the game's sort of semi-playable. Are you receiving YouTube questions? I will be looking through all types of questions, from Discord to YouTube to email to Twitter. Although I haven't got Twitter open, so maybe not Twitter. To Twitch. Any questions from any source, I will at some point see during the stream, typically, and try and answer. When do you think player numbers will start to increase on servers? So, potentially, when they put some of the elements of server-side object container streaming in, which could be this year, they could, if they go, oh shit, this allows us to actually increase server counts, they might increase the server count. But don't expect, even with optimizations, with server-side object container streaming in, when it's fully in, don't expect anything more than like 100 players on a server. And that's sort of like potentially pushing it. So what they need to get is a prerequisite of that tech. No, after they've got that tech in, after they've got server-side object container streaming in, they can then work on server meshing. Server meshing, I'm expecting to come in next year. And then server meshing does actually allow the servers to increase in size dramatically. And then that leads us on to dynamic server meshing. So server meshing is they can have servers seamlessly hand off to each other. So you can have planet, bam, that's a server. So each individual planet's a server, each individual station and area of space around it's a server, and they can just divide up the main sort of like server that everyone's on into these sort of areas. So you can have, 1,000 players on that server. And then you've got dynamic server meshing, which is the step after that, which is further out. We don't know when. And that dynamically turns on and turns off servers and allocates a server to something as small as a single room or a single ship based on population. Are harvestables going to be part of 3.7? Yes. Harvestables, FPS mining or mining by hand, new loot and pick-upables. That's all part of 3.7, and I'm very excited about it as well. It's genuinely a part of Star Citizen, which when we had the persistent universe, we should have had immediately. If you remember, ages ago, when we had Tessa Bannister and stuff, Luke Presley put in, I think at the request of WTFosaurus, lootables around Security Post Korea, and lootables around sort of like containers and like little points of interest sites that you could pick up and immediately get rewarded money. And they took that away a while ago, and then sort of had like more of these cargo containers and stuff. So this is like an evolution of both those systems, where now we can find and loot different like plants, fruit, loot on the ground, like circuit boards, mine little nodes with a mining tool, a multi-tool with a mining attachment, and then pick all that stuff up, put it in our backpack, because you basically have a storage space now, and you can actually purchase better storage armor, a little backpack on it, and then you can sell that stuff. Is YouTube going to take your verification away, Board? We can write if you want us to. They're not going to take it away. They announced that they were very sorry that they angered so many people about verification, and they're not going to take it away. They are changing the way that verification, sort of like how you would get verified in the future, but people that have got verification, they're keeping their verification. And all that verification gives me is a little tick by my name and sort of like highlights me. It's really useful when I'm sort of like trying to be a more authoritative source. It looks like you're slightly more endorsed because you're official. No one's pretending to be that person. You are that person. So it wasn't super important. It would be a shame to lose it though, and I think a lot of people that had got it or especially people that just got it, were like, "Oh my god, really? You're going to take that away? I actually wanted that." I did want it as well, so I'm glad they're not taking it away now. I like companies reacting to things. I prefer companies not doing the bad thing or stupid thing wrong in the first place, but I'm fine with them going, no, sorry, yeah, we'll change that. People are obviously pissed about it. Are you excited as I am for the Bandu Defender? I love the Bandu Defender in the way that it's a beautiful alien ship. It's not a ship that excites me and owning myself. I'm excited to see them in the game and in the verse. 100% for that. But it's the first Bandu ship we're going to have in game. It represents the gold standard for Bandu ships, and we can start to see potentially other Bandu ships or the Bandu merchantmen start to get some work on. Other than aesthetics, how will it differ from the Sabre? Don't 100% know in game yet. It's going to have a load of weaponry. It's an escort fighter, so expect it to be longer range, and obviously it's a two-seater as well. I'm expecting it to be pretty powerful. Can we get a board Legatus package? What would that entail? Well, look like what? What would it entail? Huh? I'm taking a few minutes behind on chat. Oh, let me just check something. Okay, that's working. Do you know what I checked? I checked to make sure I could still receive donations, just in case, because I can. Don't worry. As long as the money can come in, I'm fine. Oh fucking hell, I'm a monster. I'm so sorry. I've become so corporate. Hashtag fuck you. Is there any confirmation that the Bandu Defender will be able to dock with the merchantmen like the Merlin and Connies? Well, at the moment, the Merlin and Connies can't dock with each other and undock. We're waiting for ship-to-ship docking, which is coming in the future. It's not currently on the roadmap. It was on the roadmap for 3.8 when they moved it off, and hopefully it will appear at some point soon. There is some form of interplay with the merchantman and the Bandu Defender. We don't know exactly what that interplay is going to be, but it's expected some form of light docking or docking. Like a light dock, so that it could use the quantum fuel of the merchantman, for example, and really easily just dock and undock with it very quickly. But it might also allow it to be repair, refueled, that sort of thing, rearmed. And we haven't got any confirmation yet, but can I buy a shirt on your webpage? Yes, there's a link to merch on the right. I will be expanding that merch out with some more interesting things. So, like, we'll be doing at some point, probably around CitizenCon time, actually, some word pictures of like BoredGamer faces and stuff with people that are Patreons and VIPs and subscribers and stuff like that. And then like maybe some Star Citizen-esque ships, not Star Citizen ships, but similar to Star Citizen ships, with the same sort of thing. And then loads of other actual more interesting and cool merch that I've had planned for a while. With the new collectible plants, will they have a perish time? If so, will we get refrigerated crates? I think that's sort of like the plan in the future. There will be some items in the future, not for 3.7, that may have times associated with them before they degrade, or you have to do stuff with them in a certain amount of time. This is almost certainly going to be the case with quantum matter. So when you're mining quantum matter, and whatever the fuck they're called, the little particles, that's going to require you to do stuff with them quick or get them into storage in a timely manner. Can you vet me? Sir Bob Ross, you have a lovely name. And I think you're the first person to say hello on Twitch, so good job. Just cough. Unless you're a human, not a cat. Grimhex hangars with 3.7. Criminals are now getting forced to spawn ships in unlawful areas like Grimhex. Has there been any mention of larger hangars coming online to spawn the Drake Caterpillar? That is a bloody good point. So, yeah, we know that in 3.7, they're sort of like, the law system now breaks down areas that you can land in, although you can technically spawn ships at any of them. So, lawful areas, if you have any criminal rating at all, you can't land at, and that's going to be Port Olisar, and that's going to be Area 18 and Lawville. So, they will attack you, they'll shoot you, and you can't get landing permission to land there. You could sneak on board, you could aggressively land, illegally land and stuff like that. And once you're there, you should be able to probably, I would expect, spawn ships from the console still. But more semi-lawful places, if you've got a criminal rating of up to 3, up to and including 3, I believe, you can land and use the facilities there and they won't shoot you. And that's rest stops, that's Lawville. And then Grimhex will accept you at any criminal rating. So be aware of that. Now, the idea is that effectively you get exiled from those zones by your criminal rating. I'm not entirely sure if it's been disclosed or if we know where you respawn based on your criminal rating and things like that. So bear that in mind. I think there's an expectation that you'll spawn at Grimhex if you are a criminal. You'll have to wait and see exactly what they have in the live patch. Papa Mallow, no, I was just giving examples of people. Yeah, so I'm typically 10 to 15 minutes behind in chats. Would you say the ship low speed movement has improved in 3.7? They are planning to have it in a better state. Anything you've seen EVOCATI leak-wise, take with a big grain or rock of salt, as we won't know if low speed movement has improved on planets until it's in the PT, or really until it's in the live stage. How's my dad doing? He's alright. He's got a bit of a cough at the moment, and we're worried. We're still waiting on the CAT scan results, unless he hasn't told me, but I suspect he would tell me immediately. So it's probably not as bad as I originally thought. So my dad's recently had cancer. He had an operation. It was lung cancer, which is shitty. He's had an operation, but he's got a cough back now, and the doctor was worried about it. We were worried that cancer had spread back to his lung. But hopefully he's going to be fine. But he seems a lot better the last few days. Can you tell us if 3.7 is stable enough to jump right on, or should we wait until 3.7.x? Typically, the 3.7 or any patch that's in EVOCATI is not stable enough, typically, to play even on the PTU. When will 3.7 release to the PTU? I would expect this sometime this week. Do you know when the digital goodies items will be in-game? So last year's ones are in-game as Flare, I believe now. This year's ones, I don't know. It depends on what CIG want to do with that. It's possible that some of them will be available at CitizenCon. So from the 23rd of November. This game is such a scam. I play it every day. Shit, son. He got scammed hard. I don't know if it's been asked yet, but is there any information on being able to keep progress between patches? I know it's been hinted at, but not sure if there's actually any plan for it. So they more recently said that they are able to decouple server-side order container streaming parts with and full persistence parts and give them to us as soon as they're ready, potentially. And one of those things is sooner rather than later, they want to be able to give us the ability to keep our Alpha UBC and our Alpha UBC purchases between patches. We don't need to reset that particular part of the database, potentially. And it sounded like that could be something they could do at the end of this year. So I'm hoping for 3.8 we actually get that. That would be fucking amazing. Although that might be too optimistic. So it is just heavily hinted at, and it looks like that's the direction they want to go in. Not a 3.7 specific question. With the Hercules added on the roadmap, it's currently added for 4.0, I believe, which is Q2 2020. I think it will be a while before we see the Mercury, or think it will be a surprise flyable. I don't know. So the two options really that are most likely in my head is that they've re-spec'd, reworked the sort of like what ship's going to be available when. They've gone, actually, rescheduled. The Hercules is a more sensible thing to build before the Mercury for some reason. Or the Mercury is coming at the same time, or is going to be a surprise flyable between now and then. Don't know which it is. They did originally say they wanted to have the Mercury done before the Hercules, but that might have changed for some reason. They might go, actually, we're trying to get loads of ground vehicles in soon, so we need the Hercules to be able to transport them all. And maybe the Hercules is needed for Squadron 42. Upon release, do you think CIG make it harder for players to unpack game files, to find locations in game, or have a penalty for cheating like that? Hope they will. I don't think you'll be able to unpack game files to find much in the way of locations in the future. It can be heavily server based. They'll find ways to prevent that. I think there's a difference between data mining and cheating. Can I say pink beaver hat? No, Matthew Nolan. Well, oh no, I said it. You think we're at a minimum scrolling pull down menu? Do you think we, at a minimum, a scrolling pull down menu of where we want to go, current design often loses where we are located on the map? We also seem to lose location icons on planets or moons. So Jeff, they are going to be building a much more robust system for the maps, as far as I'm aware, and ways of saving the locations and sharing that data and that sort of stuff. Anything you've seen for the maps, for both Star Map and, mainly Star Map, but the Star Map's going to allow you, as far as I'm aware, roll all the way down onto a planet's surface. And then they also want 3D maps. And I assume we're getting 3D maps of inside spaceships as well at some point. That would be my expectation. But a much better system for maps, whatever, is coming. And sharing data and navigating. Didn't they mention they were going to keep reimbursing Peeps cash after future patches from now on? Because I really hope that's the case. Yeah, that's the continuation of the... will exist more caves and with different environments? What's your guess? Yes, what do you mean? There's going to be lots of caves in lots of different environments, lots of different types of caves in the future, based on the biome they're in and things like that. In the future, they keep on building these things out. There's three main types of caves in 3.7, sort of like previously explored, entirely unexplored by man, and a secret special type of cave. If we find a cave, we'll be able to plant a beacon that we can see and store its location so we can get back to that location. In the future, yes, not for 3.7. I'm annoyed because my ships are the Star on a Vulcan and X1 3-pack. Oh, Tom. None of your ships exist in game yet. That's a sad thing. Hi, Board. Do you know if mission sharing could help with sending and receiving Alpha UEC. Well, it's going to allow you to share rewards. They haven't said for 3.7 there's going to be a system to share money from one player to another beyond mission sharing automatically doing it. You see what I mean? We are getting accounting apps and stuff like that in future patches, so I would expect it for that. For them, I think, are we getting any of that in 3.8 or is it 3.9? Let's have a look at the gameplay 3.9. Yeah, accounting apps 3.9, so Q1 2020. That's when I'm expecting the ability to literally be able to go, I am sending you money, because whatever reason. Yeah, so we're expecting Alpha 3.7 live for the 10th of October, which is Star Citizen's announcement Kickstarter anniversary, which is typically when they used to do CitizenCon, but they've actually pushed CitizenCon back to the 23rd of November, which is the date they typically do the Anniversary Expo, and they've combined those two things together. So expect something quite big. But they'll still do some stuff for the 10th of October. We've got the ship Showdown, we've got some other things that are happening beyond just 3.7 launching on the 10th of October. Obviously the RSI Mantis looks like it's going on sale then as well, and is straight to flyable, and has the quantum enforcement mechanic. We're not entirely sure 100% if the Mantis and quantum enforcement are going to be fully usable in 3.7 live, initial live release, because in the roadmap roundup, let me bring up the latest roadmap roundup. I'll show you what I mean before trying to explain it like a noob. No, that's the one. That's the one. Bam. Bring this up. So, basically they said the Mantis and the Quantum Enforcement will hit the live servers during the 3.7 patch cycle. Yeah? I'll link this to people that want to see it closer up. No, I don't. No. I don't want to load that. I don't want to load up Mumble. I'll have DC swear bombing me. There we go. What else have we got? Do you think we're going to have any other surprises in 3.7 from SitCon? Two separate things. I think there's going to be more things happening at CitizenCon. I think there'll be an in-game event at CitizenCon as well, and potentially for the expo, probably at ArcCorp, Area 18, in the same way they did one at Lawville last year. I potentially would expect some more ships to go straight to flyable that time as well. You know, if the Bandit Defender will be able to dock on the Merchantman the same way the Merlin docks on the Connie. We talked about that earlier. I loved your Rexzilla gameplay. Are you planning to do that again anytime soon? Yes, I'm planning to get more involved with lots of people. But yes, lots of love to Rexzilla. Shite, I can't see what you've actually... I know you've sent something, or you've done something, so thank you very much. But I can't see it beyond that I can see something is there, because OBS Streamlabs is broken. But by all means, I will do a bigger thank you to lots of people at some point. So don't stop sending money. I need to eat. Bad Soviet, thank you very much for the sub. I can see the Twitch subs. I can see them. Thank you very much for the host. 22. What do you think about the hover mode removal with 3.7? I think it should have stayed with some tweaks. They wasted development time on it. So, this is what I was saying earlier. Wait until it's in your hands, like truly, genuinely, before, at least out of the EVOCATI phase, before commenting on it, before having a fully fledged opinion on it. So, on paper, what they're doing with IFCS proximity assist is a sensible thing in my opinion. Just the dynamic adjustment of your acceleration when you're very close to objects when you are moving slowly. That's all I want. If it just does that, that'll be good. But I want ships to be floating turrets. If there's bugs or there's terrible problems with it, yeah, hopefully they'll get them fixed. It's also a possibility that it might not be an appropriate solution as well. So we'll have to wait and see. I do want 3.7 now. As soon as it goes to PTU, I'll probably just get a couple of videos up a day when it goes to PTU. I'm pretty ready for it now. VR implementation. Also, if VR is in, how will controls work in ship POTAS, out of ship controller, mouse key? We don't 100% know yet. After Vulkan integration, they are technically able to start working more on the VR implementation. And I would expect Squadron 42 Episode 1 to get VR support before Star Citizen does. They'll almost certainly be talking about server-side container streaming and server meshing at CitizenCon. Or socks. Tell me about your socks. Besides the Mantis, in your opinion, are there any new ships we currently have that you could see quantum jamming being on them? For example, Cutlass Blue or Caterpillar. Yeah, so I could see in the future them doing modules for ships, like the Caterpillar, like the Cutlass Blue, potentially allowing them to do quantum enforcement as well. And potentially they could even open it up further, so you could have it as deployable beacons as well, or maybe the Nautilus. Nautilus can have a mine that does it. Do you see what I mean? There's lots of different routes they could do with quantum interdiction and quantum enforcement. And just because they have a focused ship doing quantum enforcement does not preclude them from doing it any other way as well. So I think they're going to be basing that on feedback and how the ship is received and does it work for their needs, and then expanding gameplay out. And potentially having other ships if they think it's sensible to do so. Will CIG give an Anvil Pisces and Rover to the people who brought a Carrack? Just like a Merlin and a Rover plays aboard the Aquila. I believe so. I believe the Carrack comes with the Pisces and the Rover. Not 100% sure anymore, but that's what I believed up until now. What are you looking forward to most about the Carrack? The fact that it's a good enough ship to be able to do pretty much anything in the game, other than mining, to start with anyway. Other than prospector mining. And you can run it with a small crew. And it's just super multi-crew, super multi-role. And it's just a cool ship. It's just does what it says on the tin. Allows you to go exploring. Those multi-role crew, multi-ship crew. Calm down. I'm excited about the Carrack. I can't get words out. It's a really good multi-role ship, and it allows you to do multi-crew at a sort of sensible level. 6 players, bam! You got yourself 5-6 players. You got yourself a proper little crew, little team, and you don't have to worry about like, oh my god, I've got a javelin. There's 70 positions that need to be filled. If I send more money, will you dance on stream for us? Yes. I just what do you want me to do? Oh my god, I'm fat. Oh no, we're not doing that again. I dance like Ben Lesnick, and I feel fat. It's nuts. Spend money, please. Right now, you can see your own criminal rating, but in the future, your ship will be shot at when you have a criminal on board. Well, maybe not a criminal on board. If you're scanned, and you have a criminal on board, and then you might be attacked or asked to stop or whatever. You might get a criminal rating. I think it would be dependent if that person has stowed away on board. Because if you issue your you must leave thing, there's going to be ways you go, get off my ship to people, and if anyone stays on the ship, they're technically a stowaway. You might not know they're there, but you are free to engage them legally and shoot them in the face without getting a criminal rating yourself. So in that sort of situation where you've got a stowaway on board, there should be some systems in place so you don't get a criminal rating. So we're going through a playlist of Pedro Camacho's music for Star Citizen. I believe it's Chiff Monkey's list, because he is smart. Here is the playlist. What else have we got here? Yeah, I want the Mercury so bad as well. Like, I'm very excited about the Mercury. I think it's a very cool looking ship. What else have we got here? I've lost my position. So if anyone is sending, subscribing or donating or bitting or whatever, there is some... OBS Streamlabs is broken at the moment, so I'll have to thank you next time. But as a more general thing, thank you fucking very much. I love your faces. Thank you for the $20, apparently, Matthew. Thanks. Thanks. Fucking appreciate it. You don't even get the proper sort of love from the content creator when stuff like this is broken. I said the content creator. I think that's a very high opinion of myself. Some guy. Thank you very much. Very much appreciated. Do you think they should get more ships in game for modes already in fighting, cargo, mining, or get modes for ships in game, Starfarer and Reclaimer, before they pop new ships out? Looking at you, Mantis. Okay, so they're not mutually exclusive. I think they should do both. I literally think they should be doing both, and I do think we'll see a speed up of the sort of like general persistent universe gameplay mechanics that are more specific for that once Squadron 42 Episode 1 starts wrapping up in its development. Do you think they're going to release the Mercury Star Runner before the Hercules comes out? I think it's a possibility. So the planet in the background here is it's not a planet, it's a moon. It's Gaini 1A, which is around the coil. Odin 1 got exploded, so it's a rogue moon, I suppose. Thank you very much for the love. Thank you. Maybe they show the Crown at CitizenCon if the leaks right. Yeah, so I as I've said for a while, and it makes sense, and now the leaks are supporting that as well. We'll see the Pisces, probably see the Carrack, probably see a new system, new planets, sort of like the planets they've got planned, like Microtech and Horizon on Crusader. Probably go to the Pyro system, that sort of thing, potentially. How do you foresee the interdiction mechanic working with orbits in? Trade lanes will move in excess of 1 kilometer a second. It's an interesting one, isn't it? So maybe you'll be able to go in some sort of geosynchronous orbit. Not geosynchronous, you know, what would it be? Solar synchronous orbit? I don't know. There's obviously going to be Lagrange points, and maybe you just have to be really smart and deploy these near points of interest. Yeah, they might be meant to be deployed more near points of interest. We don't know whether we're going to be able to just quantum in a straight line wherever the fuck we want in the future. Maybe we will. Maybe there'll be ways we can plant. Like I go here and then plant a beacon and I can travel here freely. There's lots of ways they could do stuff like this. I think they're going to evolve it organically, and I don't think CIG 100% know how they want the mechanic to work yet. It's a bloody good point. We are going to have planets that orbit Aru. Good job having Star Wars socks. Hi, Locust. Locutus. Locutus. I don't know how to say your name. Or anyone's name. And you're not allowed to talk about specifically EVOCATI, but can you at least tell me the rucksack core, does it only come in yellow? No, I can't. I can't tell you that. I literally can't talk about the specifics of the patch. They're not publicly known. There is a rucksack as armor. I would expect you'd be able to get different colours of that armor in the future, if not already. I'm not fucking telling you, I can't. Someone has answered you in chat though, which I cannot confirm or deny. Do you think we'll see reworks of older ships for Squadron, Retaliator, Gladiator, Hornet? Ships are going to continuously get light reworks and updates in the form of materials, lighting, and then some ships are going to get lighter, some light modelling updates as well. So I'd expect that for all ships in the game. Occasionally they'll look at a ship and go, we need to rework that. I think the Retaliator is the one that people want reworked the most. I think. You see explosions having inertia in the future rather than just suddenly stopping in space. I would see turbulence from explosions. Would it be expected? I'm not sure. I think you'll see shrapnel. I think it would be largely faked, though. I'm not going to do the truffle shuffle dance. No, haven't seen Goonies for a long time. Do you think there's a possibility they're working on more star systems? Yeah. I mean, we're thinking we're seeing them at CitizenCon. I'm thinking we'll get them in game next year. Have you had a chance to ask how Ben's doing? Yeah, so he's doing it's sort of like working from home. I believe he's still working on Jump Point. He's doing his own podcast and stuff. I'm hoping to get through to Ben at some point and say hello to him. So, actually, I'll just poke him on Twitter again. Will there be a big brother to the Carrack with a bit more firepower and able to carry a Super Hornet or Sober? Well, you could do that with, the Polaris. Michael Van Valkenburg, I can't see what you've done here, but I know you've done something. So I appreciate it. I don't see what it is. I can just see there's a thing saying you've done something. Jock Cop and Hin Lee, I can see you've done something, but I'm not sure what that something is. See, you've given me something. Maybe it's a sub. Maybe it's money. Whatever it was, it's appreciated. Thanks. I will thank people more appropriately after the next stream, maybe in a video. Do you think RSI or any other manufacturer will add a long-range heavy fighter to their ship lineup that will be the competitor for the Aegis Vanguard series? So there's supposed to be an RSI Black Widow, which is a heavy fighter, which I would expect to see at some point. In lore anyway, it might be a ship that has been discontinued, but I would expect a heavy fighter for that. Up until pretty much its release, even when I knew it was a quantum enforcement ship, I still thought that the Mantis was still going to be a heavy fighter of some description. Well, or be a heavy fighter as well. Do you know when ship-to-ship docking will be in? It's no longer on the roadmap. They're going to be placing it at some point between now and I think 4.0, but I don't know for sure. You earned that money, best cam girl ever. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Do you have to buy Squadron 42 if you backed in 2013? If you bought a game package in 2013, I believe it came with Squadron 42. You should be able to see in your hangar if it's got Squadron 42 attributed to it in the website hangar. If you still don't know, message customer service. When do you think we might actually see the hull series? So they need to get the ship to station docking in, and then they need to get some other tech done as well before they have it in the game. I'm expecting it in for like 4.1 now, because it sounded like it wasn't a super high priority, but they do need to get it in for Squadron 42. But the Squadron 42 version of the Hull C is actually going to be ready Q4 of this year. It just needs a load more multiplayer-centric tech working before they have it in the PEU, which that's why I think 4.1. Have you considered putting community event on yourself, linking orgs together? 100% will do. I don't have much time to do that, and I get terrible anxiety. That's why I want people like Zin, who will literally be working for me full time, and then I'll recruit people from the community who are enthusiastic. Go, what do you want? Do you want to help me out for no money? Fucking great! Come on! So I'll be doing stuff like that, and then yes, I want to be streaming like 3-4 times a week. Probably at least 4 times a week. I want to be getting Star Citizen gameplay out in addition to the news and stuff like that as well, and lots more guides and things. Michael Van Valkenburg, thank you very much for whatever else you sent me. Thanks, appreciated. Don't know what it is, but I know you sent something, so thanks. And why I'm saying that is because OBS Streamlabs has some broken functionality today. Hopefully it will be fixed. Hopefully the Logitech buyout of it has not caused it to implode. Any news on direct player-to-player UEC transfers and not beacons? So The only news I've got on that is that I would expect it in 3.9 with the accounting app that's coming with the mobiGlas. Hi Board, any idea if the Avenger Warlock will be working properly at the same time as the Mantis? Don't know that. We don't know. I know that they had on the roadmap before that they wanted to get EMPs and distortion weapons reworked and working. I'm hoping that we have them in a better playable state for 3.7. I would expect a larger rework on disruptor and energy, and EMP weapons in 3.8. So by the end of this year. That's going to be my expectation. I'm not sure if EMP weapons are going to be working any better in 3.7, is what I'm saying. Now, how do I spend my money on the RSI account? I traded my money, saved it for money, but I didn't know how to spend it. So, if you melted it, and you've got the store credits, when you go to buy a ship, when you're in the, put your payment details in screen, you will be able to put in a number of store credits there, and then apply that, and then bam. Are you concerned, as I am, about the percentage of backers that see everything PvP related as griefing? Mechanics and trying to get Cloud Imperium to exclude it from the game. Yeah, so I'll tell you where I am on this sort of thing. Like, I see a lot of PvP gameplay as important to the game. It's not griefing. Griefing is griefing. Griefing is getting a load of auroras and ramming someone's ship repeatedly on a landing pad, or just ramming loads of people's ships on landing pads, whatever, knowing that they can't do anything about it because it's a green zone, and just keep on doing that. I'm not talking about doing it by accident or whatever. So PvP, if you have a reason to engage someone, even if it's for financial gain, because you have a contract to keep an area clear, or whatever, that's not griefing. That's then you're fighting someone. If you're attacking them, if you're attacking a miner and killing a miner, that's PvP. It might be unwanted PvP, but typically PvP is unwanted by whoever's, getting killed or owned or whatever. But there's ways around PvP. You can escape from them. You can call for backup. You can keep to safer parts of space. You can go around with escorts. But yeah, it needs to be more clearly defined within those people. There's a lot of gameplay that is PvP. It's not griefing at all, but it keeps on getting called griefing. A lot of people are incorrect in their interpretation of what griefing is, in my opinion at least. I don't want griefing in game. I want a lot of the PvP systems as well. I don't want PvP fucking everywhere. That's madness. I want the law systems. I want the security and all that sort of stuff to be able to handle aggressively PvPers in systems, even like Stanton. You go, yeah, you can PvP in Stanton if you want, but it is a sort of UEE zone with private security in. You're going to get huge criminal rating. You're going to get huge punishments, and people are going to come after you. It's going to be hard to be a criminal, especially like a hardcore criminal in the Stanton system. It's terribly hard, if not impossible, in the sort of like core worlds and like Terror and Soul. If it fits, it sits. We'll be able to quantum jump with multiple ships in, say, a Polaris hangar. Well, out of the hangar directly. I think once you're in a physics grid of another ship, you probably won't be able to initiate quantum travel. The way they'll probably do it. I already mentioned the lack of AI tech, but on a personal level, would you rather have it like this or realistic, like they have on the Expanse, auto-turret, long-range combat? No, they say with Star Citizen, it has to be more tactile. It has to be less... the system's doing everything for you, or at least you have to be sitting in a seat to be able to operate it. Will the Nautilus make it for 3.7? No. Are there any intentions to allow you to walk or EVA use the mobiGlas at the same time? Probably. I haven't even fucking thought about that. They've got walk and talk mechanics. They've got NPCs being able to do multiple things and interact with stuff as they move around. I would expect to be able to move around with the mobiGlas in EVA or on the ground and without stopping in the future. Good fucking question. I haven't even thought about that ever. Hey board, the patch is sizing up to be a good one according to leaks. Would you consider harvestables and mining to be solid profitable gameplay loops, or will people just do normal missions anyway? I'm hoping that it's balanced for the live build to be very profitable and sensible to do. Even if you're doing them just as part of other missions, like, oh, as I'm here, I'll do this as well. I'd like them to be their own enclosed loops as well, when it comes to profitability, that you'd go, actually, I know I can make a lot of money doing cave running and exploring these areas. If they make it very profitable, that seems sensible to me. Could you please tell the degenerates who voted for the Dragonfly rather than the 890 jump in the Showdown that they are barred from my bar? Thank you. Bob Mitch. Okay, so let's have a look at this. Because I share your disdain for people. Let's bring this bad boy up. Oh, you fucking monsters. Oh, it's got, what's this here? Let's turn that off. So, we've got the ship showdown at the moment. So, a load of ships are on sale that aren't normally on sale at the moment. So, feel free to purchase them if you want them. Although I'd get them in game probably, because ship rentals are coming in 3.7. You can obviously buy ships already now and in 3.7 as well. But some of the ships that get voted on might have something interesting happen to them for the 10th of October. But basically at the moment they're having a ship showdown where they are facing off some of the most popular ships in the game with people voting for them. And people that voted for the Dragonfly here, although it does have more votes, you're actually incorrect, and you actually wanted to vote for the 890 jump. It's similar to BREXIT. Although people voted for what appears to be BREXIT, you actually were incorrect. You should have voted for the 890 jump, BREXIT. Well, no, what are we talking about? I don't know why you would vote for this over this. Oh, because you're poor. If I could drop the mic, I would. But I can't. It's on a stand. It's like and attached to my desk. Maybe I could table flip. Hashtag vote for the 890 jump. Although it won't win now. Too late. 600 votes. It's pretty close. So, you know when we'll stop resetting the updates? No. So they're going to decouple the ability. It sounds like they're going to decouple the ability for the need to reset your Alpha UEC and Alpha UEC purchases soon. I'm hoping that that's going to be for 3.8, but there's no confirmation of that. Back in the day, you could access the PU via the hangar. Will this feature return? Yes. So there'll be physicalized hangars soon. At some point. Don't know. If I send more money, will you dance for us on stream again? No. You're a monster. Why are people monstrous? What's wrong with you? Where are we? Bear with me. I lost where the fuck I was. But you're right, Bob Mitch. Everyone that voted on the wrong way is a degenerate. I'm not sure if I'm talking about BREXIT or the Dragonfly now. Does 3.7 feel like a game yet? No, it's an EVOCATI patch. What do you think? It's monstrous, probably. I don't know. I can't talk about the specifics in EVOCATI patch. I'll have to wait until live. But I'm not expecting I'm expecting 3.7 to be the most playable Star Citizen patch we've ever had. But I'm expecting to see and hold Star Citizen as a game more accountable from 3.8 onwards. What's the current thought on Rec? It's going to be used for, Squadron, not Squadron, Star Marine and Arena Commander to buy items and rent items there. The game within the game. What's the end goal for Star Citizen? 120 systems, fully fleshed out game. Lots and lots more ships. I get right now it's just a work in progress, but what will the goal be when the game launches? What's the progression? I don't know how to answer that. I'm not really sure. You need to define the question significantly more. for me to be able to even tackle that. A lot of people are considering it to be first-person Eve. It's not that entirely, but it's got elements of that. Will caves have markers like outposts on moons? You might see some caves in the short term, or a cave or whatever, in the short term have a marker, potentially, but I wouldn't expect it. Eventually we will be able to mark caves and locations in general. Papa Mallow, you're just wrong with your opinion on the Dragonfly for the win. I do love the Dragonfly, but it's not an 80-90 jump. Like comparing a nice red wine, like a delicious red wine that you've had with a steak, to someone shitting in your open mouth. Okay? Yeah? See the difference? Michael Van Volkenberg asked, do you think we will be able to choose new trade routes or choose new routes for quantum travel soon, or will they keep it locked down? He donated 40 of the 60 events so far. Thank you very much, DS. Look at this! I'm getting people to tell me shit. How do you see that? I can't see that. Thank you very much. Very much appreciated. You're a fucking legend. Thank you, Michael Valkenberg. Thank you. Yeah, so I think that they're going to give us more tools and a better map system to be able to navigate and save locations and share those locations with each other. I also think we're going to be able to scan for points of interest and be able to travel to those points of interest. And I think we'll be able to mark those points of interest and use those as sort of like waypoints. They did talk about previously that there were going to be ways of deploying beacons. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to completely blind quantum travel, although it sort of makes sense that we can, because we could just turn off our quantum travel whenever we want anyway. So I think they're still working it out themselves. I've got a 16,000M, I'm assuming the Thrustmaster, throttle gathering dust. I play star systems with the mouse. Has the new throttle system made HOTAS better in your opinion? It's different. It's different. It's a bit weird. You get used to it pretty easy. The flight model's not finished yet, really, for me to be able to comment on what's a better system. I'd still use mouse and keyboard in the short term. That's just me, though. I want ease of use and quick of use, and I run around FPS a lot of the time as well. Oh, is my mic going a bit weird? Apologies. But I've had to bring my mic closer. Let's move closer to my mic. Yeah. Is that alright? Is there a difference between trolling and griefing? And should both be allowed in game if they're different? Vote 890 jumpy for sure. So, yeah, typically griefing and trolling are very similar. Trolling, I would say, is probably a single instance of being a bit of a dick to someone or whatever. Not necessarily a terribly bad thing. You might just troll them in chat by, I don't know, press Alt F4 to get the new update. That would be a troll. Oh yeah, so where's this guy? Where's this mission giver? Oh, he's here. Just send them the wrong location. That's trolling, okay? That's a troll. It's all good. My definition of troll and why way. Griefing is, you know, oh, where's this guy? And then you just sending them harassment for 3 straight days. Telling them how you had sex with their mother. And then repeated ramming someone on, like, the landing pads with your Aurora army. Just going, bah, you can't get out of here, you can't leave, and I'm not getting criminal rating because they haven't got mechanics in here to stop this yet. Lol, 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 lol. That would be griefing. Does the harvesting of poop mean we could potentially get the first animal in game soon? I don't really know. I suspect we'll see an animal or animals at CitizenCon. I think that there's still a way to go for pathfinding of AI on the ground, because we don't really have humans much on the ground yet beyond in human NPCs in the underground bunkers, which are very enclosed environments. They need to get pathfinding working for AI on the ground, and they just don't have that yet. I do have a big head, and a weird-shaped head as well. Look at that fucking thing. It's monstrous. But it's my thing. The weird-shaped head makes the girls go crazy. And typically phone the police as well, so... Am I looking forward to poop? What? I need to pee now that you've said that, though. If the A90 jump loses against the Dragonfly pack, will it get removed from the game? No, it won't. In 3.7, will caves have markers like at outposts or moons? Already talked about that. What new stuff do you think will be in the new character creator system? I don't really know. Well, I can't really talk about it. It's more, but expect a better UI and better abilities to more easily change the sort of like features of your character. A bit more power to create more interesting faces. And they'll be adding more and more heads and hairstyles and stuff as well in the future. When do you expect beam weapons for ships? That's an interesting one. The first we heard of true beam weapons was with the Idris K pack from last year. I would expect we'd start to see proper beam weapons soon. People could argue that the Tachyon Singe is a beam weapon. It's not really a continuous beam like we'll see with the Idris K. I don't know when we'll see them. I don't actually mind politics in gaming, as long as everyone can be civil and sensible and appreciate that for a piece of art or for a storytelling, and not tell me that the politics is wrong or good or bad or whatever. Everyone can be sensible and mature. Obviously, fucking no one can, or at least very few people can. Then I'm actually fine with it. But as a sweeping generalization of a rule, keep politics out of gaming is pretty good. Bored, do you think the Care Bears in the game will quit crying about things that aren't completed yet and accept that PvP will be part of the game? I'm fine with people having their opinions, and I'm fine with people talking and discussing them. Yeah. So, I mean, people can talk about that sort of stuff. So, CIG can keep it in mind that there's a portion of the player base that is super against PvP and like, no, I don't want any PvP. That's fine. They can have systems which are super secure. They can have the core worlds and stuff like that. And they can also have the Wild West worlds, which are no law at all and terribly dangerous, but probably have very, very good money-making opportunities there. People that are willing to risk it. And then you have systems in between. Cool. So, don't mind people sort of talking about that. Can I see your setup? There's links in below, I think. 64 gigs of 64 gigs RAM, 2080 Ti, A700K. Pretty slick. I'm updating it soon, probably with the plan is with the new Threadrippers. They're dropping in November. I was going to go for a 3950X, and I'm still not rolling that out for as a Ryzen. But they've been delayed. So they've been delayed, and it looks like they're coming out at the same time that the new Threadrippers are. And Threadripper would be very, very good for my needs for editing and stuff. Shouldn't the multi-crew patch on specifically the turret control of the crew member being able to target a ship using the manned turrets be implemented with the shareable missions? They are improving some of the stuff with multi-crew and ships and targeting. I don't think it's coming with 3.7 though. You might see some tweaks for multi-role ship use and general quality of life improvements for 3.7 as well though, that will help with that. Voting for the Dragonfly was the only way for anything but the 890 jump to have a chance at winning. What? You broke my brain, Jano. Do you think the Mantis will actually be the opposite of game-breaking OP, but instead be unrealistic to use effectively on a regular basis? Is the Mantis in the EVOCATI build? I cannot discuss whether it's in the EVOCATI build. We don't really know what the Mantis and quantum entanglement's going to be, quantum enforcement's going to be like, really, until it's heavily tested. Dovar Bear, I don't know what you've sent me, but I love you. Thank you very much for whatever it was. 890 jump miner here. Do you know if they fix the cargo capacity in 3.7? I would expect a lot of the quality of life problems and a lot of the bugs to be solved in 3.7. That was my expectation. I will sort of like be analysing Star Citizen with that expectation in mind. I would expect them to fix some of the stats and numbers, but also fix, like, you know, cargo falling through the floors and things like that as well. In 3.7, will caves have markers like others? No, I don't believe they will. You might see, like, a cave with a marker, like a mission marker maybe. But in the future, you'll be able to mark areas and things. Do you think CIG will eventually allow players or the community to design their own ships from modular kits? I think that they still want to have private servers and modding abilities, so potentially, but not on the official servers. They might have some competitions again in the future to have people get involved in making things. What are you looking forward to seeing most at CitizenCon? Actually being there. So it's a bit of a fan fest for me. I'm actually going to be there. I'm going to be drinking a reasonable amount, so hopefully I won't get obliterated, and that wouldn't be great. But I'm looking forward to it. I get to see a load of people that I haven't seen for ages. I get to meet a load of new people. I'm going down the day before as well. I suspect there'll be an official Bar Citizen. So I'll be there throughout the day, just doing meet and greet and just generally drinking, chilling, chatting. So that's what I'm looking forward to most in CitizenCon. The day I get back from CitizenCon, I'll be, oh my fucking god, I've got so much work to do. But I mean, content-wise, I mean, new system, potentially see aliens would be cool. But new star system, Squadron 42 release date would be great. That's the sort of things I'm hoping to see. Since the Carnival cruise ship, the what the fuck's it called? Ben's favourite ship. Oh, the Carnival cruise ship. You mean the 890 jump? Since the Carnival cruise ship's going to lose to the hoverbike, who do you think is going to win the showcase? I don't know. I need to see all the ships in it. Actually, no, I do know the ships. It depends on how they all pair up to start with. It's a weird one. Like, I think that the Dragonfly might lose to a ship that potentially would lose to the 890 jump. It depends on how they've got it all set up. I was thinking of the Genesis Starliner. PTU Wave release soon. I would expect the PTU Wave 1 release at some point this week. Probably towards, like, Thursday, Friday. Any news, Squadron 42 wise, that you'd expect to see at this CitizenCon? I'd expect to see a new trailer, potentially some gameplay, and I'm very much suspecting they will start the marketing campaign for it in earnest, and we'll see a Squadron 42 release date, or something similar to that. With the base building, do you think we'll be able to buy pre-made habs, like from the small ones at Polosa to large apartments in Hurston and Artcorp? Yes, I think you'll be able to buy and at least rent habs in these zones, yeah. Do you think the ship showdown may mean more ships are going to be in the ship customization system? I think it's a possibility that they'll make the top 4 available for the ship customization system sooner than the others. Yeah, it's very possible. That makes sense as well. Do you think CIG was planning on having a rare ship so they could resale it? And when the Cutlass wins, their plans for making money will backfire because a ship that's always on sale won? No, because they'll open it up to ship customization system, give it exclusive skins, give it exclusive loadouts. But it makes sense that they do that. Board, has there been any discussion about being able to hire NPC escorts alongside player escorts? Yeah, you should be able to hire NPC escorts, I believe. That was discussed a while ago. They said they didn't want too much in the way of being able to just hire a huge army of NPCs. They would have some limited ability for you to be able to hire other escorts and stuff, and some of those could be NPCs, I believe. I believe that's still the plan. I need to, when the new thread rippers are out, I'll take a look at all the possibilities and then make a choice from that. Any rumours yet on the Merchantman now that the design type should be done? The Defender? What? So obviously the style guide for the Banu race is largely done when the Defender comes out, and then they can start building out the Merchantman, yes. I mean, Board, it seems to me that the 890 jump was the shoe-in for winning the finals. I think it was going to be top 4. Voting for the Dragonfire was the only way to give anything else a chance. Oh, I see. When the Santa system is complete, what planet are you most excited for? Hurston, ArcCorp, Microtech, Crusader. I do like Hurston, and I like the idea of Microtech as well. I mean, Crusader Orison is pretty cool. Gas Giant's cool. I mean, there's quite a lot. I like Earth. I like more various biomes though. That's why I quite like Hurston already. Is the RSI Mantis going to be flyable in 3.7.x or when 3.7 goes live? Well, that is a good question, because it says in the roadmap roundup that it's going to be live during the 3.7 patch cycle. So that could mean 3.7 live, or it could mean 3.7.x. Will they bring back Lawmaker's Guide to the Galaxy? I would expect to see something like Lawmaker's Guide to the Galaxy in the future, yes. After the Defender, what alien race of ships do you think they will focus on? I think Misc Tavaran stuff. I mean, we know they want to get the Prowler in. Do you expect the Cyclone to be able to hold cargo in 3.7? So the standard civilian one is supposed to be able to hold a unit of cargo, isn't it? Yes, I would. I would expect it. I'd expect them to try and get that in, and I think if we poke them enough, they probably will. Will there be in-game player-made art? Will there be musical instruments for RP purposes? And we know there's musical instruments in the game. We're not sure how playable they are, if they're playable. We know they've got rendered text to text, so that you'll be able to potentially broadcast stuff within game. We know they've got the comm systems for that. We're not sure to what extent you'll be able to make player-made art and decals and things like that. Don't know yet. You think real estate investor could be a career in game? Sort of, yes. I think that you will have the ability to find places to build on planets, literally survey them, literally prospect for them for good base locations, and then bam, build a base there with the Pioneer, or just sell the land, and the fully made outpost there, or just sell the, rental of your Pioneer, whatever. And I think there's potentially ways of, maybe you can sell apartments to other people from your rental. I don't know. Don't know about that. I'd consider probably only allowing a character to run property at each location, and when it comes to sort of like habs in a location. Do you see what I mean? So you can only have one hab at Lawville, but you can't just buy them all. We'll be able to choose our home world of all the worlds at game release. So, as far as I understand it, there'll be some starting locations, and you can choose to start from those starting locations. I believe that's how it's going to work. Will I get banned for making PPI cold calls on Mobiglass? As long as they're all role-played, perfect. I wouldn't expect anything less. Will capital class and large ships be rentable in the alpha? Large ships, yes. Capital class, I don't know. Well, some large ships should be rentable. I'm not sure which ships are going to not be rentable. when it comes to the large and super expensive ships. It doesn't make sense for them to be rentable, like a Javelin or something in the future, does it? How much of an improvement in AI do you expect to see in 3.7? Some improvement, but I'm not sure to what extent. I'm expecting it to be functional, and missions to spawn properly, and enemies to not jitter around. Broke my audio, sort of. You haven't noticed that I broke my audio yet. I have. After ships... Fucking wait. After ships, do you think we'll see mounts? Oh, I don't know about mounts. Obviously, we can mount a Dragonfly. Bikes. I don't know. I wouldn't expect to see mounted animals. Do ship purchases persist in 3.7? They persist for the patch cycle. We're not. I am not expecting them to have Alpha UBC and Alpha UBC purchases persist after for 3.8 until. Do you see what I mean? So they'll be wiped when 3.8 comes out. Is my expectation. Potentially 3.8 might have savable Alpha UBC and Alpha UBC purchases, but we don't know yet. Why don't they integrate Star Marine and Marine Commander to the universe as scripted events, Vandal Swarm, or locations Star Marine areas? So they want to have in Star Marine and Arena Commander, they want to have in-lore sort of like scenarios and skirmishes and things like that you could have and play there. Some of the locations that will be in Star Marine and Arena Commander will exist in the verse or are versions of them. I was just changing the music. I broke it somehow. In the future, when the game is released, do you think we'll be able to select our species like Banu Human? I think in the far distant future, they did say they wanted to have the ability to select more human races, like Banu Xi'an, potentially Tavarin. But in the short to medium to reasonably long term, it will just be human. Could the Prowler run into the same issues as the Defender? First ship for a whole species, setting up the Star Gold might take a bit longer than thought. I think it already has fallen into that, and they've sort of like been delayed behind the scenes because of that. Right, be right back. I do need to bio. Wah! I've returned. I did. Yeah. Sorry about that. I had to buy it and then I had to get some water. When do we get Star Citizen forklift racing? I would expect to see the forklift in the game at some point, actually. And yeah, immediately as it becomes available. Think CIG will police player actions or let things happen naturally. They're going to tweak the law system and security systems and the way gameplay works based on player actions, yes. And they will build up more robust contract systems and things like that based on what works for the game. They are very, very malleable with the game and its mechanics. Do you think they will allow the pilot to release movement controls to the co-pilot? Yes. They've already said they would. When can we expect to have more high-end investigation missions? Most are cheap rewards. They will change and add missions from patch to patch. And maybe in 3.7, for all we know. So we will start to see more and more of the dynamic mission system coming in over the next few quarters, and lots more missions because of that. So, and they need to do lots of like rebalances and economy updates as well. Some of that will be coming at the same time. Will the Cutlass Blue come with the ability to interdict ships like the Mantis can? Maybe in the future. All we know at the moment is that we're going to have the Mantis be able to do it, so focus ship for it does not preclude them doing modules and other ways that other ships could do them. Oh, records indicate that you were involved in a hover mode accident. It wasn't your fault. Is this correct? Yes, it is. Why didn't they just make interdiction a function of EMP instead of a new module with a new ship? I would have just had it as, as interchangeable module for EMP as well, actually, thinking about it. How can you make so much video content if CIG only shows about 5 minutes of new content a week? Because there's actually a lot of information out there. They produce Jump Point, they talk on the forums a lot. There's a playable game now, to an extent. It's quite easy to produce the amount of content I do. Why do you think CIG are so reluctant to give ground-based vehicles the ability to navigate? I don't think they are. I think that they are working on those systems at the moment. Is PTU tomorrow? No. I would expect the PTU at some point this week, though. First wave PTU. In the far future, will you be able to create an in-game political entity to rival the UEE? Probably in some sort of way. I do expect it to have fan fests for Star Citizen based on political intrigue and stuff like that. I do expect there to be huge organisations and interesting in-game events and things like that. Will Squadron 42 characters exist as mission givers? Potentially. We've still got no sound. We've got sound. Has it got sound? We got sound? We got sound. Oh, it's definitely got sound. I can see it. I can see it on the sound waves. Will we get an anti-mantis that will prevent your convoy getting interdicted? So, it's an interesting one. I think that there might be in the future. They haven't confirmed this. Well, they haven't said anything about this, but my expectation is that you can have some sort of like quantum integrity if your drives. If you pay for a really expensive quantum drive and you put components in it and you fly near a quantum interdiction bubble or through one on the edge, you probably might not get pulled out because of it. But if you went through the middle, you'd still get pulled out. I expect there might be some sort of systems for that. Right. So, yeah, I'm pretty excited for 3.7, and I'm hoping that 3.7 is going to be relatively playable. So it's on the cusp of their new staggered development model. I do think 3.8 is going to benefit from that a lot more. I do think we should be at least a little bit more critical of 3.7, and a lot more critical of 3.8 when we look at it as how playable it is. If there are persistent bugs, if there are bugs like for the mission givers aren't working, or oh, we can't do any of the bounty hunting missions, or we can't do any cargo missions because the cargo boxes fall through. We should be very critical for that. We genuinely should. When it comes to some of the core mechanics, yeah, they're building them now. As long as it's playable, as long as AI spawn in, as long as they do something, I'm going to be, yeah, I'll be reasonably happy. The idea is that we should start to see these patches much more polished and much more playable from now onwards. 3.7, I don't really know. It's, as I said, it's on the cusp of their staggered development model. Just to confirm, we won't get more players and rubber banding fixed until Q2 2020. We could see improvements before then. Not more players, that's very unlikely. We're expecting... Oh, I don't know what song that was. Pedro's song. Starflight, it's called. But I've not heard it. Let's switch back to this one. So yeah, we might get some potential fixes so that we don't get rubber banding and terrible things before they get server-side object container streaming in and server meshing in and stuff like that. We'll have to wait and see. I'm hoping that Star Citizen is at least playable. Some might ask me why, but anyway, do you know where the Taurus is and might land? No, so this is an interesting one. It's been disappeared off the roadmap. I'm now expecting it for the 10th of October. Like, as a sort of like, ha! Surprise. I'm not sure why it's not on the roadmap is the main reason for that. It seems quite simple for me to, in my head, that they should have had that ship already done a while ago. Do you think quantum enforcement NPC ships like the, maybe the Citizen Con, the Taurus. Do you think the quantum enforcement NPC ships like the Cutlass and Avenger be replaced by the Mantis? Yes. Or CIG break the rules and keep these NPC ships doing and pulling you from quantum? I'd expect to see NPCs use the ship. Although in the short term, they might just have NPCs being able to pull you out. Did CIG mention how the glass system used for schooling will be integrated gameplay-wise in the future? What? I don't know what you mean, Le Kangaroo. Why 3.8? What's so special about 3.8? CIG moved over to the staggered development model. Recently, they told us about it, and they cut down a load of features for 3.7. So 3.8, for me, anyway, represents their first true patch in the staggered development model. And we said that the staggered development will allow them to have more polished, more meaty patches that they've spent longer time working on, and they should be able to get them in a much more playable state. I'm not holding 3.7 to the same standard that I'm going to hold 3.8 to. I still hope that 3.7 is significantly more playable than any previous patch we've had. Do you really think Caves will add hours and days or even weeks of gameplay before getting bored again? There comes to a point where there's enough gameplay to keep you interested because there's a lot to do and a lot to work and strive for. With rentals, with ships purchasable, 3.7 is a bit more than just a tourist location for me. It's got probably a good number of hours in before it gets sort of repetitive or boring. For me, as soon as they add the ability to not lose your Alpha UEC and Alpha UEC purchase, I'm probably going to play Star Citizen a fuck ton every week. He needs that persistence for me. But yes, I do think that Caves will add hundreds of hours potentially. But the new changes in 3.7, I think, for not the casual player. It's probably like what 30-40 hours max for the casual player. For someone that's a bit more hardcore, hundreds of hours potentially of extra gameplay. Am I the only one whose inner voice when whining for 3.7 and every patch before and after that is to release it to the sounds of Gur from Invader Zim? But I need a patch. Whee! Never thought how autistic Gur sounds actually thinking about it. Have you heard anything about when they're going to start adding more players? I've talked about that a few times. Potentially we could have that with some of the server-side object container streaming stuff, but it's more likely to be with server meshing, and I would expect to start to see that 2020. 318 still has the actor to server communication rework. Right. Might have been moved. Let's have a look. Pardon me. So it's been moved to 4.0. The server to actor networking rework. So Q2 2020 is when it looks like a lot of optimizations and improvements are coming for the server side stuff. It's super important. Do you think the distance between planets in the system will shrink once jump points are added? I don't know. Potentially. Do we know when 3.7 will get released? I'm expecting 3.7 to go to first wave PTU this week, and it looks like 3.7 is planned to go live for the 10th of October. Destiny 2 comes out tomorrow on Steam. Can I play it with you? Potentially, Houdini. Depends how busy I am. I will be playing at some point, though. I'm very much looking forward to do Destiny 2. I get Zin and DC to play, because they haven't played before. But me, Kit, Zen, G will play. I think Noodle probably does as well. Yeah, I really enjoyed Destiny. I sort of maxed out on everything, and I was like, there's not really much else for me to do. I didn't play the last expansion, admittedly, and so I know I can do that. I believe that Destiny 2 is all of the content's free up until the new stuff that's coming out tomorrow, and it's all going to be available on Steam, which is pretty cool. Do you think the Legacy RSI jumpsuits will make it back in the game? Yes, I do think they'll do them again. If Microtech is habitable but frozen, what will happen if we go outside in our bare pants? You'll suffocate and die. And freeze. When they've got a player status system in as well, they'll have multiple ways of killing you. When can we think about AI crew, in your opinion? You can think about it now. I'm not stopping you. So they have actually got some of the AI and sort of crew, or the AI systems for ships working pretty well, like aiming and operating turrets and things. I think we'll see AI modules first, probably before we see AI crew, and they're probably not that far out in the future. Expect for them to start to talk about this stuff once Squadron 42 is nearing completion or release. And we've got Q3 2020 is when they've got the feature complete beta planned for Squadron 42. Episode 1 anyway. Do you think 3.7 will make Jumptown great again? I think 3.7 will see a lot of different changes to cargo, trade routes. Obviously got the Mantis and quantum enforcement. So there's a lot of new interesting things. I suspect we'll see some interesting gameplay loops. You play War of Rights on Steam? No. I'll look at it later though, if it's something I'm interested in. Any update on when we might see another system? I'm expecting we'll see another system at CitizenCon and actually have one in game next year. Do you think that jump points will be used to split up servers because of a lack of server-side object container streaming meshing? No. I think that they'll want to get those in first before having jump points in our hands. Do you think smaller ships should walk faster than bigger ships due to their mass and lack of gameplay while you travel in a single-seater? Bigger ships should be slower for that reason. No, I think bigger ships should have smaller ships docking to them for the opposite reason. You see what I mean? I don't think small ships should be doing huge range quantum travel. But since the atmosphere is breathable, you think we might be able to go out in a jacket? Is the atmosphere breathable in Microtech? It is, isn't it? Yeah, it is. It is. I think there's going to be environmental damage. So I think you'll probably need armor for that. But maybe there will be civilian clothing that is warm. What's your best guess on when the Corsair will be flyable? When do you think they will release new patches on the roadmap? What? Currently only goes to 4.0. Oh, I see. I think once 3.7's out. So potentially we could see a roadmap update to 4.1 and extra updates to the roadmap after 3.7's out. But I would expect it more likely to be at CitizenCon they do a big roadmap update. Just got here, can you start over? No. No, I can't! I'm gonna go soon. I'm gonna eat. I'm fucking hungry. Jumptown was ruined by profit nerfing and losing its exclusivity. Yeah, I know. So Jumptown is still one of my favourite gameplay loops that the game's ever had, and I think they need to bring something back like that. I think it's a shame that they broke that and changed it. Give me more emergent gameplay that forces players to interact with each other, and is interesting like that, please. I would expect the Corsair to potentially be available next year, like 4.3, 4.4. No, sorry, 4.1, 4.2. Sorry. Do you think the Gladius is still a viable fighter for both PvE and PvP? Yep. Do you think we'll see the Kraken before the Endeavour? Yes, I do actually. I think the Endeavour's a while away because it's a complex science ship with lots of different modular components. Do you think the Drake is more favoured brand in Star Citizen? Am I a prat because I prefer Origin ships? No, you can prefer whatever ship you want. I mean, you can. It's all to do with art and tastes and stuff, isn't it? You don't have to share anyone else's view. As long as you're, civil with each other. You can appreciate art in different ways as well. Do you find the ship parts for ships and their stats performance ambiguous with the current display of information it stores? Yes, we need better stats, and we need a rebalance of all the systems, and we need visualized components to all come into the game. Yeah, 100%. Right, are there any more questions? Any more questions? Because what I'm going to do, we have I'll answer a couple more if anything turns up. And then I'm going to go off and eat, because I'm fucking hungry. So I had a bit sweary today. I apologise if people don't like that. I'm fine with swearing though, like I'm cool with it. Been in a weird mood for the last few days. What are your thoughts on modularity versus specialisation in terms of ships like the Mantis? Also, do you think it is fair that in development game, these new mechanics are locked behind a paywall? They're not locked behind a paywall. You can... Well, we don't know until we have 3.7 in our hands. But you should be able to buy most, if not all, ships and rent ships in-game. And therefore not playable. Do you agree with that? We're like, oh no, you still have to... You can still buy them. I don't want mechanics locked behind a paywall. I think it's a ridiculous thing to do. But yeah. Thank you very much. So today we had a lot of broken things with OBS Streamlabs that I use, so I couldn't see people sending me donations or people subscribing and stuff like that. So apologies for that. Thank you so much. If you did send me anything, I will check it out later and I will thank you properly in the next stream or another video or something. So genuinely, thank you very much for that. Very much appreciated. Mag boots are still planned. I'm expecting to see them in between now and 4.0 still. Basically, it's not technical mag boots. It's your EVA pack thrusts you towards the ground to simulate gravity, or thrusts you towards the whatever you're walking on. How playable this is a game right now for new players. At the moment, it's not great unless you have someone going around with you to teach you, or you do a bit of research and watch how to play. There's no in-game tutorial. You'd need to have someone else tell you what to do and how to do it. Really. We can go to there's some official videos that do it as well, but there's videos like mine that are much better, in my opinion anyway. So, playability for someone just jumping in, very low. But if you have someone to guide you or do a bit of research, it's pretty cool. How hungry are you on a scale to 1 to 10? 6? Quite hungry? Oh, thank you very much for watching the streams. Very much appreciated. Does Star Citizen have enough things to keep you busy for a while in game? 3.6, not so much. It's got a bit. If you like hauling, yeah. If you like doing some of the missions, if you've got an organisation you can play around with, you have hundreds and hundreds of hours of fun with an org doing silly things. It's quite sandboxy and quite pretty. 3.7 has a huge amount more busy work with sort of like harvestables, lootables, caves, FPS mining, that sort of stuff. Do you think we might be able to build ships with a cap ship? No, I don't think so. I don't think they're going to have that sort of level of manufacturing in-game. What system will come first? Pyro, Magnus, or Terra? Pyro, Magnus. Pyro. Most likely to come next. Magnus is also pretty fucking easy and also proximate to Stanton and the same that Pyro is. Right. Fucking love you guys. thank you very much for the love. Thank you very much for all the donations and the subs and the questions and the messages. I am going to eat, and then I'm going to get back to my taxes and finish those for last year. Get all that fucking done, all my admin out of the way, and work out what I'm doing video-wise for tomorrow. We will see who else is streaming. What do you have an organisation? Yeah, I've got BoredGamer, and I've got Nomad Black. I need to start Nomad Black. I have to start it in 3.7. But this is BoredGamer org, which you're more than welcome to join. It's just a social org, which I'll use for organisation and just chatting and stuff for the most part. Discord is the best place if you want to come and play with me. And I am going to be playing a lot more in the future. I've only done it like a couple of times in the last month. I jumped on there and done stuff, so I do plan to be doing that a lot more. Let's see who else is streaming at the moment. Right, we are going to go and host Obernerd. He's very enthusiastic, and I love his face. So give this man some love. Thank you very much for watching me. I love you, Kale Piggo on target. What the hell is your name? The Clay Piggy on target. I love you. I love you. Why don't you believe me? Is that better? I don't know. This is who we're gonna host. Because I'm hungry. Okay, it's hard to love when your hunger's there. Slash raid. Uber nerd. Oh no, that's not how I spell his name. I've spelled it wrong. Bam. Perfect. Right. Fucking love you guys. You take care. Talk to you soon. And peace out. And all those other lovely things. Thank you very much. Mwah. Bam. Bam.